want to thank Chairman Moran and Ranking Member Tester for convening the hearing today. I think everybody knows it's Suicide Awareness Prevention Week, September 6th through September 12th, and National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, which is the month of September. You know, my state, the great state of Alaska, we have more veterans per capita than any state in the country, but we also unfortunately have very, very high suicide rates, particularly among our veterans, and it's certainly been a priority of mine in the Senate to advance legislation that brings greater awareness and services to the devastation that too many of our finest fall sway to. As a Marine, it's a personal issue to me. I've seen it, unfortunately, up close and personal with some of my units, and certainly one of the first bills that I focused on as a new senator was the Clay Hunt Suicide Prevention Act, which was focused on these issues, but we still have much more work to do. I want to thank the witnesses today. I know this isn't an easy topic. The good news is the S785, the Commander John Scott Hannon Veterans Mental Health Improvement Act 2019, which I've co-sponsored, actually over half the U.S. Senate has co-sponsored, was going to help us make progress. That legislation includes a bill I introduced, the Veterans Over-Medication and Suicide Prevention Act. But this bill has, the broader bill, has very strong support in the U.S. Senate, bipartisan support, because members recognize that we must not relent in our fight against the scourge of suicide among our military veterans and veteran populations, and it builds on the Clay Hunt Suicide Prevention Act. That was, I believe, the first bill I co-sponsored as a new senator. So I think a lot of us on both sides of the aisle view this as must-pass legislation. Certainly hope the House leadership takes it up as soon as possible, and I urge all my colleagues who have connections, and we all do in the House, to make sure our House colleagues move on it and we can send it to the President's desk where it needs to be signed into law. So let me begin with a couple questions for our witnesses. Mr. Lorraine, can you please share with the committee about the data you referenced in your testimony in regards to Operation Deep Dive Research Progress, and how do you believe S785 can assist you in your efforts?
Senator Sullivan, thank you, and thank you for all you do in Alaska. We have a great partnership with Alaska, and we look forward to continuing it. To your question, the data that we have, as I said, 4 data sets. The state of Minnesota and the state of Florida provided us all of their death data for the last 5 years. And through our partnership with the Department of Defense, we sent all of the names and social security numbers to DOD, who then provided us back with a confirmation of who served in the military, and then a little bit of a history of their service experience, their characterization of discharge, their dates of accession, and then their dates of discharge. What we've been able to do with that data, with the study, is to really get to not an aggregate records provided by the states, but individual records. So we know the person who died, when they died, how they died, and their causes, so around suicide. But then we can also correlate it to their military service. That's how I'm able to say, so in the state of Minnesota over the last 5 years, they've only had 3 veterans with a dishonorable discharge who've passed away, and none of them were from suicide. In Florida, there was 5 in 5 years, and 1 was from suicide. We're fortunate to go through this. We've got the next 2 data sets that we're looking at are Massachusetts and Alabama. And then teed up, we have North Carolina, Wisconsin, Wyoming, Montana, Senator Tester, and Tennessee. How the 785? So I think your section, which is section 102 about the opioid, what we see is, because we can see all deaths, we can see not only those that were classified as suicide, we can see those that were classified as overdoses and what the opioid impact is that aren't counted as suicides. So opioid deaths from overdose, but aren't categorized by the coroner or medical examiner as suicide. I think it's important for us to get there. I think it's important for us to get to the impact of suicide shortly after transition from the military. One of the data points we're looking at right now is of those 18 to 34-year-olds who died within the last 5 years of discharge, 25% were by suicide. So I think you're one of the sections that you talked about is critical to that.
Well, I appreciate that, and that's the kind of data we need. Again, this committee's been very focused on it, but those are sobering statistics that you just highlighted that we all need to be aware of so we can continue to focus our efforts in the Senate and in the Congress on this issue that really unites members here.